In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Amen.
You love me more than these. You can read that either of two ways. Do you love me more than these other disciples love me? Or do you love me more than you love these other disciples? Remembering that on the night of the Last Supper, Peter boasted that even if they all desert you, I will never desert you. I'm ready to go with you to the death. And a few minutes later, he denies that he even knows him. I suspect Peter was not saying that he loves Jesus more than the other disciples love him. I don't think that's what he's claiming at this point. He's been humbled, and this threefold interrogation is obviously a direct parallel to the threefold denial. 3 times Jesus asks, "Do you love me?" 3 times Peter says, "You know I do." And 3 times Jesus says, "Feed or tend my sheep or my lambs, my little lambs." Loving Jesus means becoming involved in his care for others, and especially for his other little ones, for children. I hope that sometime in every one of our lives we'll have an opportunity to do some children's or youth ministry. Somebody has said that the church's oblivion is always exactly 1 generation away. We don't raise up the kids. We have really failed in our allegiance to Jesus. My first 5 years of ordained ministry were in 2 different prep schools as a chaplain, 2 years among boys and 3 years among girls, and it was an absolutely invaluable experience. Everything I've done since then is built upon that foundation. And I'm convinced that if you can't explain it to kids, you can't explain it. But, do you love me more than you love these other disciples? I think that's the way he meant it. Do you love me more than you love these friends with whom you feel relatively comfortable? It goes on to say, "Very truly I tell you, when you were younger, you used to fasten your own belt and go wherever you wished. But when you grow old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will fasten a belt around you and take you where you do not wish to go." Allegiance to Jesus means that we'll be taken where we don't want to go. John says, he said this to indicate the kind of death by which he would glorify God. After this, he said to him, "Follow me." I ordained a man last month who has had a wonderful career as a Methodist minister. Married, he's now retired from that, married to an Episcopal. She's followed him all his life. They ended up in retirement at St. Edward's. And when I met him, I thought, wow, what a great guy. What a help he could be at St. Edward's. And I encouraged him to get into our process, which he did. And he's ended up at St. Matthias. Best laid plans. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. There came a time when God called me away from prep school ministry, and it was extremely difficult. I mean, I really loved that. Never wanted to do anything other than be among kids. Called me into parish ministry, very difficult. Called me here. That wasn't easy. Allegiance to Jesus means he has a claim on our lives, and he can move us where he wishes.